that's lost their life and everything east of us, we think about them. I can only imagine what they're going through, so my prayers are with them. Gail, you call the roll?
Cummings,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Wesley,
Yes.
Lester,
Yes.
Wheeler, Miller.
Yes. I need a motion to approve the agenda.
Move to approve.
Second.
Call it.
Cummings,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Wesley,
Yes.
Lester,
Yes.
Wheeler, Miller.
Yes.
Motion.
All right, number 3 on the agenda is, I've asked Lewis Group to come up. This is Mr. Thomas. And just to give us a quick update on where we're at on that project and the little wall mishap that happened, I'll just give you the floor.
Sure. Jake Thomas, Lewis Group. There's not a ton to report on right now. I'm just getting construction underway up there. I took some pictures, just ran by the site about 30 minutes ago, so this is how it looks right now. You can see the building pad. This is the gymnasium here, and where the gymnasium expansion will be. The building pad's ready to go. And then off on the other side, here's where the cafeteria expansion will be. So 2 things have happened kind of note in the last week or so. One is the weather, obviously, right? Kind of exposed the building, and then a hurricane rolled in, which nobody could have accounted for. So there was some water infiltration here at the cafeteria, and we've had them tarp that up. That shouldn't be an issue any longer. And then the second issue is when they were removing the brick from the existing building, part of the CMU on the inside, so this jam right here of this door, if I go to the other picture, is right here. They're pulling the brick off of the CMU, which this is the jam on either side of this door that's carrying the lintel above it. Started to just break apart, which you don't want to see that. This is supposed to be, if you're doing this today, this is reinforced, grouted. It's a bearing component of the building. It needs to be solid. So immediately, we requested that all the kids be removed out of that area. And we put in some temporary shoring. I guess the next morning we came up here with our structural engineer, put in temporary shoring, and since then have developed a more long-term shoring plan for the ceiling over the course of construction until we can get these things reinforced and grouted. So there's a pretty substantial project contingency of $200,000 that we're going to pull from. And that's what contingencies are for. Unforeseen, who could have seen this.
So did that happen when they done something, or?
The building, so when this building was built, they're really not building codes.
Yeah, but I don't think that crack was there before that.
Well, yeah, it should have been grouted. I don't think that they did anything wrong. They're just pulling it.
Well, they pulled the brick off with the crack hole. I do know that.
Okay.
And that's a no-no.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Aren't the brick attached to what with, the
The ties.
Brick ties.
Wouldn't that
Yeah.
be, would that not push the wall, pull the wall?
It would, in any sort of wall that's built in the last 20 years, it would not have been an issue. Right. But since it's non-grouted cells, I'll take that up with them. I was not aware of that. So you can see the cracking is
and the oven is too, right? Oven's got a crack in it too.
by the cafeteria.
Mm-hmm.
So we have, I believe that crack was there.
You think it was there?
Because we went back and scoured through all of our old photos when we were just first starting this project. And
But that one wasn't there.
correct, this is a new one. Over by where the cafeteria, the wall's perpendicular to the exterior cafeteria wall. There's a crack there. I mean, if you were to build this building today, what a structural engineer would do is you've got this wall, and you've got these walls, and they would tie them together with ladder reinforcing. And one acts as a shear wall to the other one. You tie the whole thing together. It doesn't appear like any of these were, which, it just is what it is. We're gonna go in there and fix it as best we can. So. The backhoe stuff is new to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not right.
So also,
I was
sir,
told that by more than one.
also, sir, the crack that you're talking about there, you're talking about like the seam where the wall meets that other wall, but not through the block, right?
This,
all of that is new. Yeah,
no, this is existing. This is a good existing classroom wall.
no, I'm saying all that crack up there is new.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That's all new. And the good news is, we did a test. We went and drilled through at the cafeteria jams
Yeah.
where we're increasing that opening and say, hopefully it'll be crowded here, and it was. So hopefully this is just kind of a one-off condition around the building. We've gotten a proposal from structural engineer to provide a new fix for this, and we can go around the building if y'all want to and spot check each one of these jams, half of them, We can be as extensive as we need to be, checking these conditions around the building.
But you are gonna find out about the track hole.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Also, on the back one, like if you rewind and go back to you used a term, that you were gonna do something, one forward, please.
Oh, this one?
You said that you used a term I wasn't really familiar with to repair that. Is that gonna protect the integrity of it? Like, is this still gonna be safe? Is that cosmetic, or is that,
This is,
no, your repair to that?
it'll fix it as if it were new.
Okay.
You're gonna fill it.
Yes, we're gonna fill it with concrete.
Okay, that was my question, because like it could, you could feel that and it look, cosmetically, it could look, but if it's not safe, then,
That's what we're concerned about, is safety.
thank you, sir.
When you were talking about going through and spot checking, I think we strongly need to do that. Do you agree, Jeff? I mean, if this is a one-off thing that was just missed X number of years ago, great. But if this is a reoccurring thing throughout the building, then we need to, safety's number one priority. So
I
we need
think
to
you'd
make
be
sure-
able to see it at each doorway. You should be able to see something if there was movement. Is that right?
If there were movement, yes,
Yeah.
but they could be, this wasn't, I guess, not an issue until they started yanking on the wall. They could be ungrouted, we don't, and checking is as simple as taking a drill and drilling into each one, 10 seconds. You'll tell real quick if it's crowded or not.
Yeah.
Now, in the event that it was pulling the track hole and done this, are we responsible for that, or are they responsible for that?
I'll look into that. I can't give
Will you get back to me and the director on that?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, because like if those damages occurred due to like not appropriate procedure.
Understand, yeah, I agree.
Understood, sir.
So your timeline, once all this gets cleared up and whenever we get some dry weather, what's the timeline on this project again?
I don't know if I have that. It was 300 days from whenever,
From when you started?
when they started. But the good news is if the weather holds out Thursday, they're going to start trenching foundations. So that long-term shoring that I referred to, they're going to get these classrooms, the teacher work area. You can see these are hollow. This isn't just bar joist or some sort of light roof system over these classrooms. It's actually a hollow core plank, which has some heft to it. So we're going to do that long-term shoring here so that then they can move around and continue on the outside of the building. Because really, at the end of the day, they're trying to get the building in the dry so this weather doesn't become a concern, right? They're just working inside. All trying to work towards that date.
Is that all you have?
I think so.
Any questions?
No estimated completion date?
300 days for when they began the project.
I can get you guys more, an updated schedule. I don't know if they're working kind of milestones during break periods, right, or if they're gonna go consistently. Just because it is the beginning of the project, we haven't had an OAC meeting, another architect contractor meeting yet, so I talked to them on the way up here. We're getting the next one set up for 2 weeks from now, so I'll be able to provide you guys better
Thank you, sir.
timeline.
Mr. Headley, do you have any questions? Ms. Fields? Director?
No.
All right, we appreciate you.
Appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jay.
All righty, we'll let you get cleared up, and then we'll recognize Mr. McDonald. That's right.
That's right.
With the Weeks Ambrose and McDonald architect on the Chemical High School weight room and auxiliary gym.
Yes.
proposal.
Thanks, Chair.
Thank y'all.
Sir.
Thank you, sir.
Y'all very nice.
All righty, okay, you've got the floor.
All right, thank you. We're trying to finish up the documents right now for this project, and we're checking on budget. I think I made some comments at the last board meeting, that there were some things we ran into on the weight room, football weight room project that we want to cause things to go up, and there's some other items too that have caused things to go up. But right now, we're looking at about a 15% increase in the overall cost from our original projection back in July. Some of that's just incremental costs, some of that is things that were added. Is the maintenance director here? Yeah, up here. We did look into the request that you had made for the controls through train. You had requested train units be utilized on the project, which we have. We've had those specified, but the train people had wanted some controls be added to the project, which is a significant cost. So I wanted to talk to you about that, to make sure you want to.
How many units is in the vehicle?
Well, there's two large units that will supply heat and air to the gym, and then there's another smaller unit that will provide the heat and air to the auxiliary spaces, the weight room, the bathrooms. So want to make sure that all that is needed before we proceed forward. So, but our engineer has plugged that into the estimate. Costs have pretty much remained stable. However, we just had a hurricane that we're all aware of. The last time a hurricane of this magnitude blew up through the southeast was probably Hurricane Katrina. We all remember that one. We did a project right after that. The cost immediately jumped 30%. I don't know if that's going to occur again, but I know it's going to have an impact, because I heard an estimate just the other day that they thought the amount of damage done just in North Carolina alone could top $100 billion. That's a lot of construction. When you dump that much work into the market, prices are going to go up. So we'll have to keep an eye on that, kind of see where we go. A lot of the cost estimates, I've gotten pretty hard numbers from vendors and contractors for that particular portion of the work. The estimates from my engineers on the mechanical, electrical, plumbing portion, structural portion, and the others are based on just our recent experience in the bid market. So, for instance, the slab in the weight room, we were planning on replacing half of it, but now we're going to have to replace the whole thing. We don't even think there was any reinforcing put in the original slab. Looking at what we just saw on the other project there, sometimes things don't get put in properly. So it's good that we're going to have to replace the whole slab, that way we put it properly. But since the building is sitting on the edge of the slab, and there's two columns in the middle that have foundations that are sitting on the slab, we have to saw cut all the way around the perimeter of that space. We have to saw cut around each of the two columns, take all that out, and then come back in and dowel in with reinforcing, lay down mesh reinforcing, and fill in any soft spots that may be there, and re-pour. So that added quite a bit to that project. I think it was originally estimated at $115,000, and now it's at $150,000. That's total project cost. The other project was estimated at $1,375,000, and now it's at $1,565,000. So overall, it's about a 15% increase. We have our survey completed, which is good. We've got a request in for a subsurface investigation where we can look at the soil underneath the site where the practice facility is going. We need that to determine the soil bearing capacity. Hopefully it'll come back positive. It also determines the seismic zone. Those are two things that are important in the size of the structure of the building. So once we have that, then we can complete the documents. We'll submit it to the State Fire Marshal's office for review and then proceed with construction if you so choose to proceed. Any other questions or anything?
The slab that you're gonna take out of the weight room,
Yeah.
what about coring that to find out what's underneath that thing?
Well, we could, but just based on what we've seen, we know there's some settlement. We know that wall behind the foundation wall, you know, is settled and cracked, and we're, you know, a big part of that project, maybe 40% of the cost is in going in and putting 26 helical piles into the foundation and shoring that up. So
But
that,
that don't help it this way.
well, it'll stabilize it. Yeah.
Put it there, but it's still,
And
To me,
then,
what they
once
done-
we remove it, then we'll look at what's underneath and see if we need to replace anything.
to me, what they done was, when they cut that field down, they just put it over yonder
Yeah.
and didn't compact.
Well, I'd heard that was, that hill was sliced off and they created the playing field surface.
Yeah, that's what I
So,
thought they done.
yeah. So that's what we need now. We're just building at one end of it.
Right.
The end closest to the parking lot where there's probably less field than
Yes.
the rest of it.
Good.
But we'll get a good report, evaluation of what's there. And that way, we'll know ahead of time.
But they wasn't no rebar or nothing in, I don't believe,
And the football, yeah.
in the weight room.
Yeah, yeah, when I looked at a piece of the slab, it was broken.
Yeah, they
Where it
was
settled
nothing.
quite a bit, I couldn't see it.
No, they wouldn't.
So when the weight room project begins, about how long do you vision that taking?
Well, both projects, we had projected a schedule of, I think, 210, make sure, yeah, 210 days. Now, both projects would proceed simultaneously. We're bidding the weight room remediation as an alternate. That way we'll have a separate price for that because you have two purchase orders for the projects. And we'll know what each one cost. And that one would be finished sooner. I would say maybe within a 3-month timeline, that one could be finished up. Unless we run into.
So you're looking at the end of December?
Well, we bid it out in October, received bids sometime, say toward the end of October, maybe early November, probably more like November. And then get a contract, probably won't get a contract, signed and notice to proceed until, say, December 1st. So that would be January, February, March.
Weather.
Yeah, and weather permitting, a lot of that work's inside, but a little bit's outside. There's also a gas line on the end of the building that we have to relocate underground. It's above ground, it's in the way.
Is there any way to get, or if we expedited something to get that in there, so those kids can get in there and start lifting?
Let's see, we've got 3 overhead doors going in there. Those are probably the longest lead item. So we can find out how long those will take to get in. Maybe we can expedite it from there. Everything else that's done is just like pouring the slabs. It's a matter of getting in there, taking the old one out and putting the new one in. There's no mechanical, electrical, plumbing, just a little bit of gas line relocation, which is minor. So I'll have to find out about the lead time on those doors.
It's more of a priority.
Okay? All right, well, we can certainly expedite and maybe put in a section into the bid form that says this particular part of the project has to be finished with a certain number of days.
There is one more thing up there. There's a gutter on the inside of that building.
Yes.
I don't know who done it, but somebody put it in there. And I'd say that thing been leaking for a long time too, at one time.
I was hoping you wouldn't mention it. But that, the way that the addition was put on, the way it was sloped, the structure was sloped really not really the right way. But anyway, you ended up with an internal gutter. If we want, we can take a look at that and see.
I think, when we put the roof on,
Mhm.
we tried to do a little bit with that, but
Yeah.
really ain't nothing you could do.
No.
So, I don't know, I mean, I do know that it leaked for a long time.
Yeah.
That's the reason we put the roof on in the first place. So,
Now, the roof on the field house, where the, I guess, the locker rooms?
yes.
Is that a metal roof too?
Yep.
Okay, that's what I thought.
It needed a space in between them where it needed.
Yeah, it's, every time you put water into,
Yeah,
into
the
a
roof.
like that, it doesn't turn out very well.
That's just something we have to look at here.
Yeah, okay. So if you bring a ladder next time, we'll go take a look.
It's bad, I know that.
Okay, I believe that's it. Are there any other questions? Yes.
When you started your presentation, you said an original amount of 115 and then an updated amount of 150. That was for one
That's
piece.
for the weight room project.
And then you gave it overall. Can you give me those numbers again?
Okay, 115 overall project cost for the weight room.
The next set.
And then the indoor practice facility was originally 1,000,000.
500 some thousand now.
Wait a minute, the original was.
1,375,000.
Yeah, 1,375,000, now we're 1,000,000.
565.
It's overall 15% increase.
Yes.
And then also on the weight room that Mr. Lester was talking about, your usable date, like, would the kids be able to use that on March 1? Or were you saying that March 1 would be in that timeline, would not be completed? What would be a usable date? And that way we know when it's expedited, how much time we've gained.
Well, March 1st would be the date we'd be able to use it. Spring break is what, middle of March?
April.
Normally.
You know the date. I don't know the date.
Usually it's in March sometime, ain't it? Usually.
It's saying the further we put this off, the farther it hurts the football team.
Yeah.
I think spring break's April, turkey season.
Okay. Okay, it's toward the end of March, okay, so we can probably, if we can expedite that, depending on how long it takes to get those doors in, if we get those quickly, then maybe we can press that schedule down another couple of weeks, maybe. But I'll have to check, see.
Have you and finance determined a bid date?
We have not picked the bid that yet because we want to get the final drawings approved and then.
Then you'll go to that.
Right now, we were hoping to release for bid around the 1st of October, so, that's tomorrow. So we'll have to get with the finance department on dates, bid dates and releases, and make sure we have all the front-end documents, language, the way they want it, all those different forms, regulations and so forth.
It have to be bid out.
Director,
Yes.
on that additional money, is there anything this committee needs to do to appropriate that additional money?
We'll have to approve
I mean,
We would
that's
to
additional.
get more funds.
We would still be under budget. We've got 1.7, so that would still put us under budget. 1.5, so it's over, what, over $200,000? So,
But that technically means some of
But
the
what
other
is the
things are going to.
contingency money that
Right.
we have to?
now we did add in on pretty much everything on the smaller projects. We added, extra. But,
Any more questions?
When you say you're tearing the weight room slab, I mean, it's a flooded slab.
It's called slab on grade. There should be crushed stone fill underneath it at a certain depth, and then the slab is poured on top of that. But apparently there's no reinforcing put in it.
Rebar.
Yeah, so,
So whenever you tear that out, are you also pouring the block wall back, or?
no, the block wall is only on the back side and about halfway up to the ends. And then from the halfway point toward the track, it's just slab on grade. There's no footing or wall underneath it. So it's the usual half slab on grade and half foundation.
The foundation's cracked.
Foundation's cracked, and that's what we want to shore up with a helical pier, so go around that actual pier, drills down into the foundation, stabilizes it, and we try, if we can, try to correct that wall as much as possible, and then go back into the point where it's cracked. And that'll stabilize it.
I'm sure it will, but don't you think it would be a lot sturdier if he's gonna have, since you can turn the slab out, go ahead and pour the wall or concrete, or not?
Well, we'll have to look at those walls and see if they are.
I mean, are we gonna go through all this and turn this slab out, and in a few more years, something else is cracked or falling from off the hill?
The helical system should shore that up.
Yeah, it should shore it up, but, you know, we'll take a look at those walls as well, make sure, you know, that they're.
Because you're gonna bore down in the ground quite a bit, correct?
They're not very high, it's only about 4 feet high, so, you know, we don't have a really high wall to deal with. There's not a lot of pressure against that wall
So
from
the
the
rest
inside.
of it's just tin, the whole thing, it's a metal building?
Well, it's a metal building, and it's set directly on the slab.
Okay.
Half of that slab is supported by the concrete masonry walls, and the other half is sitting directly on the ground. And the part that's noticeably, you know, settled is the back half, you know, where the foundation walls are. The front half was fairly good shape, but it's got some significant cracks in it. Not so much settlement, it's just cracks, but we think it needs to be replaced, especially since there's no foundations, reinforcing in it. We should be dealing with plates and dropping like that. We can go back with a 5-inch thin slab, reinforced.
Now, is that concrete will be poured all over the people, or?
It'll be bid out.
Bid out. It's a big part of the overall project as an alternate. Set the price for that. Monitor each project as we go along. This one, that foot paper, finish.
Bottom line is, as old saying, we're having to clean up somebody's mess that didn't do it right years ago. So it's costly.
The thing that bothers me is this has been going on since 2022, is that right?
Correct, but
It's 2024.
keep in mind.
23.
23.
23.
It was identified in 23,
For what?
January of 23.
January of 23.
January of 24, this committee had an option on the table with MBI, and it was voted down. That repair was voted down, January of 24.
What was the repair cost then?
Say about the same, 400, 500,000.
The only thing I remember ever being talked about, the $500,000. That was the repair cost then. That's where the whole building, a bigger complex come up with was, now, I have a kid that's been up there for 2 years. He's sitting right here. And this is inadequate weight room. Whether y'all want to believe it or not, injuries. When they can't work out, this is what happens. This is what happens. They get hurt. They're going to sit right over there, there's 2 laborers because the inadequate weight room. Because some people in this room fought this when it first started. Now our kids did 2 years without a weight room. In a matter of 2 months, we spent $850,000 to put in a turf field. 2 years, we can't put in a $300,000 weight room. That's pathetic. And that's a failure on y'all's part.
We're working on it.
Working on, how long you been on the board?
I've been on it 8 years.
And you fought this tooth and nail.
I-
You fought it from day one.
No, I didn't.
Fact, yes you did, facts.
No, I didn't.
It's all over the media, you can go back and look it up. Fought it from day one. That's a fact. You voted it down several times.
I voted for the repair.
For the repair. $500,000 and we're at $300,000 to fix it back.
Well, that
So
was
you were
the
voting for
difference.
something that's $200,000 more dollars.
Well, that was then. But the bottom line is.
The bottom line is now is you all have failed these student athletes, which is the face of your school, whether you like it or not. That's the face that you put out there on your school is your student athletes. When you have good student athletes and good athletic programs, it goes into the classroom, it goes to people coming in. For Gray County, promising him things because that's what we said we were gonna do. And here we are right now, not honoring anything that we told this man. That's a failure on our part. And it ain't right, and that's y'all's fault.
Thank you.
And I will say, with all due respect, half this committee is brand newly elected and just has had one meeting. So I understand your frustration, I certainly do.
Brandon, you are, and you're in my 3rd district.
Yes, sir.
And I helped put you in office.
Yes, sir. We're working on it, I promise.
Okay. This guy right here fought it tooth and nail. I'm gonna look you dead in the face and I'm gonna tell you. And I'm pretty sure there's another one in here that did too, that voted it down. I guarantee you.
I understand lots of people are
So,
frustrated.
I'm frustrated because 2 years, you can say it was identified in January or whatever. For 2 years, this kid right here has not had adequate workout space. That kid has not. That hurts our kids. We're a 5A football program working out with weights that were back 20 years ago. And here we are still today. They're still not going to get put in the weight room. My kid's gone. It's done. I'm not here for my kid. I'm here for his kid. I'm here for my grandkids that eventually will go to this school. Yes, I'm pissed off, to be honest, because it's not right. I'm not the guy that shows up to these meetings. I'm not the guy that says anything. But for 2 years, and here we are again, and we're talking March and April, you can't have a football program and compete at the level that they need to compete at, not get work out until March and April. It does not happen.
Can't do it. You can't expect these kids to come in here and perform at peak performance with the little effort that we're putting in. You can't say, hey guys, go out there, put some pride in us. We're Campbell County, but we're not, the adults are not showing any pride in us. Why would they? I mean, we're not doing our thing. We've wasted my son's freshman year. It's gone, it's over. He's graduating, he's out of here. This one here's out for the season. I mean, there's a list of injuries that's going on up there. A list.
And I get your frustration, I promise I do. Just like you heard Mr. Lester ask if there's anything we can do from our perspective
And
to
we get it,
expedite
Mr.
this.
Johnson, we get it. This is, but you, Miss Wheeler, and the other gentleman, I don't know his name, I'm sorry, he's from the 5th district.
Ryan, he's great. Good guy.
I don't know him.
Ryan
No,
Cummins,
you're not.
sir. And
I'm
hey,
not throwing no shade about across the mountain.
I didn't feel like that.
I'm not. But when it comes down to it, this has been a 2-year ordeal that you and Miss Wheeler and him shouldn't even have to deal with. And that's facts. It's facts. It should have been done and took care of.
Sir, I apologize for your frustration. We will work to get this done and completed.
And
And not-
I so hardly believe it, but it's time that we stand up as parents and say enough's enough. Because you know what happens, and everybody wants to, when kids get frustrated and they start leaving this school, it loses dollar amounts for this county. Your dollars going down the road. And I ain't just talking about right down the road, I'm talking about everywhere. So it's time to quit all this and that, it's time to get it finished and done. I mean, at 4 months, we're looking at those still 4 to 5 months out from getting it fixed. So we are gonna be like over the 2-year mark. 2-year mark for $300,000. When you were willing to pay $500,000 2 years ago. Makes no sense.
Wish we would. Was there a way, Jeffrey, to say that it's an emergency with the foundation cracking and kind of bypass and just some of this bid out stuff? Is there any way?
I don't think so. And the last 3 weeks, like with the weights that Mr. Pemberton, the weights, equipment, there's a 4-month lead time on all that.
Right,
I mean, I've been working with finance, with Ms. Chambers,
right.
and we finally figured a way to purchase them on a cooperative where you don't have to be in.
Right.
So those quotes are in the hands of finance today, getting approved through buy boards, which is the cooperative exchange, that bypasses bidding.
Right.
That speeds that up, so they'll get ordered and they'll be ready by the time this building gets finished.
Is there any way that anything like that can happen for the actual
We can
project
check
itself?
with Mr. Marlowe, but with the bidding laws and the way, I doubt it.
Where's he at? Where's Mr. Marlowe at? 2 years, when nobody's seen him. He ain't never here.
But we will.
It's the facts. let's just state the facts. We're waiting on somebody that we don't see, we don't even know where he's at. He could not even be in this state. Nobody knows. And he's running our county. He's running the finance department.
You'll have to take that up with your county commissioners.
And we tried to fire him 12 years ago, and they, I don't know, they backed out and scared death of him for some reason. Don't know why.
Is there a way that
We will
somebody
check.
could check on
We'll
maybe bypassing
I'll
on
check.
an emergency? I mean, has there ever been, Ms. Fields, some type of emergency where you could
No, we
bypass?
have to, based on state law, you have to go through the bidding procedures.
That's why I emphasized on that, the weight equipment, with that lead time in there.
Yeah.
If we had to bid it, I mean, it would get bogged down in months, red tape.
I'm just worried, we're gonna have all this brand new weight equipment, and we're not even gonna have a place to put it.
Well, if we get that, it's with buy boards, and then what they're doing, they're looking at the pricing to make sure it's competitive. Once they get that back, finance, then we can issue a purchase order and put the order in. So let's just say that happens next week, well, that's the first week of October. November, December, January, February would be when they would be ready.
Which, maybe if the
So
weight room's a priority. and you make that a
Everything
priority.
could, trust me,
Right.
I'm trying to do everything I can right now, at this moment, to push this through. I mean, I am. I really am.
I will say this, I don't know how it's worked 2 years ago or how, leading up to this process. Jeffrey's worked with me here lately especially, where we've got those weights ready to go, and he's worked diligently to try to get that taken care of, along with our administration, and, I appreciate him for doing that. The thing that's a little frustrating to all of us is 5 months from now is when it's supposed to be completed, or 6 months. That's the thing that's frustrating. We need the thing ready to go in January.
We need a firm date of when it's gonna be done, period.
That's the whole thing that's frustrating.
You can't build a program with a willy-nilly schedule.
But I want to emphasize that Jeffrey has worked diligently with me since I've been here to try to get that going, so. And I don't know all past stuff and everything that goes along with it, but here's the bottom line. We gotta take care of these kids and get them as quick as we can get it done, because Mr. Kirby is right, this is a 5A program with a very bad weight room right now. We got it down in the gym right now. I mean, our kids lifted today, but there's certain things we can't do because we don't have the appropriate weights to do it with, and we need to get it done. And it needs to be a priority, and it needs to get done quick. I just don't understand why it takes 5 to 6 months to, I guess that's above my pay grade, but I've brought in prisoners from the prison before down at Rockwood to build a whole weight room. And got it built, and they roofed it and built it and everything else, and we was in it in a month and a half.
What happens when basketball season starts? Where's the gym will go? The weight room.
It'll still be there.
Will you do everything on your end to expedite?
Yeah, I'll
We passed this 2 months
driving,
ago, I thought we was already working on
piece
it.
will be in that
I would
particular
say-
project.
Brent, just, we're working with them, they've been, I mean, everything that has happened in the last 2 months has been very efficient. He's been up there probably 4 times. I mean, he had to schedule the design process, it went smoothly. The bid process is supposed to start tomorrow, so as far as everything that's went into, after we've, hired him, I mean, I think it's went pretty smoothly. I mean, he's been on campus 4 or 5 times, he's been down here twice. And it sucks that there is red tape that we have to go through, plus we're part of, county finance. That doesn't make things any easier, we're worried.
And that's one reason why he's here now. I
Yes.
wanted him to come, give us an update, we're moving this in. We're gonna get this finished. And as chairman, I can do that now. I can call a meeting when I want to. So I appreciate you coming. You'll be on the phone with the director and me, priority. I'll be on the phone with finance to talk to them about expediting on their end. And we're gonna get it done.
All right.
Thank you.
We'll be in touch.
Appreciate you. Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan.
And thank you all for coming. appreciate it.
Let's all move forward, that's the name of the game, everybody together, let's move forward for those kids.
This is what I talked about. All right, moving on to number 5. Number 5 is an update on the capital outlay projects. We've already approved these in the 24-25 budget. And it's kind of what the board members have requested in the budget for this year. And I'm really just seeking an update on what we've kind of proceeded with and what we're working on and what we need to work on.
You ready?
I'm ready, Ms.
All right,
Chambers.
Carroll Elementary, their playground equipment.
Wait, if you'll just, hold on, number 1, in that handout I gave you, page 1, and number 2, page number 2 and 3, number 47 starts where it shows what was requested. And then the next paragraph on page 3 at the top kind of shows, what was laid out. Now,
Carol, the playground equipment, she had like 3 quotes. She has sort of changed her mind. She's going back. Today I spoke with her. She's getting another quote that it was going to have to be bid out. She was trying not to go that route. So she was going back, looking. She'll be back in touch. Their awning, the requisition has been sent over, so as soon as the PO comes back, we'll scan and fax that in. So that's on the go. Scoreboards, Stan has, who's the company?
They're out of Louisville, that's who we got.
So, and they'll probably have to get 2 because they have one that works, but they won't be compatible with each other. The parking lot, the resealing and striping, that will take place over fall break. Their signage, they have it, it's ready to go, but when the weather gets clear, maintenance will put those signs up. All right, Jacksboro Middle School, we got a quote for their lockers, like $56,000. We have another quote that we're waiting on that to come in. The floor in the library, they are not going to go with the polished concrete. It's pretty pricey. So there is another alternative that we have a quote from Lindsay's. We'll have to get another one on that. Cody had sent me his quotes for his equipment. One of them was from the same company that Mr. Miller had for the Fieldhouse Legend. So they're supposed to be sending us another one with the information for the buy board. So we can go that route because it was going to have 3 quotes as well on that. The van at the high school, I have hooked up Mr. St. John. There is a gentleman we go through that with the state contract in Columbia. So we're waiting on him to get back in touch with us because last year we got 3 vans and that's who we used and that's who Lisa at Finance recommended that we get in touch with. So we've been in touch with them. Jacksboro Middle School is actually mentioned twice on this, on their weight equipment. One was for $10,000, one was for 15. And La Follette Middle, Mr. Piercy, they're still deciding, the football coach, what exactly that they want. I asked him if he was interested in what Cody had gotten, so we have not heard back from him yet. The exterior doors at the high school, W.S. Trimble, who sort of like buy board, there's another purchasing cooperative member, Tips, W.S. Trimble, who we've gotten several things from. They will be up here Wednesday to look at the high school on the doors. The band, I've talked to Adam Wright. He's getting his quotes together, which he said they were going to get like some supplies, and the bulk of that will be for musical instruments. Wynn and La Follette Middle, the painting, the pre-bid meeting was last week. The bid opening will be this week. And what was there, 4?
3 showed up. 4 showed up, 3 probably gonna have 2 bids on it.
When is the opening? Thursday.
We should get that on the agenda for,
Next for the October.
for this October, yeah.
And the playground for the rubber chips, we're waiting on another bid on that. I think that's all.
And every bit of that will come out of recurring capital outlay. I talked to Richard down there. So it's already, been programmed.
Where are those bids advertised, like La Follette Press, Knoxville News Sentinel?
Where did we on that one?
Facebook.
Some
which
are
one?
with La Follette Press, some are with WLAF, and then.
You've got lots of
Knoxville, yeah.
It's like
And they
a
rotate.
bulletin that all contractors see it.
Okay. Jeff, when did we, say, for example, La Follette Middle, when did we let them know, like their football team, hey, here's how much money you've got, start getting bids? When, how long ago?
Well, would you know that, Josh? That was,
It was in the budget, so I mean, they knew about it.
They probably was the one that brought it to us.
Yeah, they turn it in to
Brent, I think
us.
that was one of your requests, wasn't it?
Mhm.
I think it was one of the board members in the second district's budget request.
Well, it's just like mine without you, the
Right.
sage grove, and I've been working for 2 months on getting
It was,
quotes. I mean,
yeah, it was in the budget notes, I'm pretty sure, like when Richard did the 141 budget
Well,
notes.
I mean, I'll have to go back and check, but they had already redone their weights,
and that's what he said.
that
He-
if
he-
we could reoccur those funds to something else for the
Yeah.
football program.
And that's what he was gonna talk to, I don't know the coach's name up there.
Yeah.
Mr.
Has
Hayes.
Cody given you a fresh bids?
He did. And and Chris Cobb from Legends, that we've already talked to him, and he is supposed to be sending the one, it has to have on the quote, it has to say buy board.
Same thing
So-
I'm going through with, But we finally got them there. At first, they, I was like, you have a cooperative, what are you talking about? I said, well, where you can get it on the state list, oh, yeah, we've got that. And then it took getting it all on a paper with that contract number. I mean, how many times they sent it? 4 or 5 times? And we had to keep getting it redone and sent back, wait 2 or 3 days. But I was on the phone every day pestering. I need this now. And we got it, and they got it. And they know that I need it, so.
And I don't think it's actually Legend, I think buy board actually has to
Yeah.
look at that and
They
then
do.
put,
Look at the pricing. All right, Ms. Chambers, thank you. for
you're
that.
welcome.
It's good.
Hey, and I've gotta say, I'm a new grandma. I'm not a grandma, but I've got a new
You're
grandbaby.
a lolly.
She's a nanny.
No, I'm not a nanny.
All right.
Nanny.
Moving on to the next one. Number 6, now this is like a little bit of
Your
a
nanny.
continuation of what we kind of started before the turf over there. Jellicoe High School football field, the concession and that restroom at the bleachers is in rough shape. I mean, I've been there. It needs to be painted, needs to be fixed. The bathroom needs to be redone. I mean, it's just my opinion. And we had allocated like 300 grand to do all that, but I've talked to Stan, and I'm a believer that our maintenance crew can do a lot of the work. And so to do that work, get Elk Valley's boys bathroom, and then the Campbell County High School football, men and women's bathrooms by the concession stand, redo them. His guys we think we can get it done for about $75K. Remodel all of it. And upgrade it.
When I got time.
Stan, will you look at something for me? I noticed when I was at one of the football games up there this year, in the field house area, where it goes from block to metal around the top. Can you look at that flash and see if they've got that turned upside down, the wrong way?
At the top,
They said it's leaking in there.
inside,
No, on the outside. It's the flashing. It's like a triangle shape with a flash upon it. It looks like that flashing's coming down over the block. It should have been turned around, went up under the metal. It looks like water's running down in and just
is that
trapped in
into the
thing.
locker room or is it to the?
All the way around.
All the way around. This is on the locker room, not the.
Locker room.
weight room, Not the weight.
Locker. Just check it out.
Okay.
To me, it looked like, I mean, I can't get up, I didn't get a ladder to look up there. It could be another flashing that goes up under it, but it looked to me like the flashing was down. It should have went up under the metal and come down and just, run off the
You got
metal.
brake trim on here, what's it got? Brake
Huh?
trim?
Yeah. It's like a triangle with a piece of flashing on it, and it looks like the flashing's turned upside down, and the triangle's going up, and water's running down, going straight into there and just running into the block.
I'll look at it.
That could cause a lot of financial problems later on if that's the case.
Two things on that before we move forward, Chair. To speak to everybody on that, those are certainly justifiable and much-needed upgrades. When you go look at the field and you look at our field house and our restrooms and concessions, it's long overdue. So I would appreciate, looking into that, supporting that. And Stan, I'll put you in the hot seat like that guy. Estimated completion date?
You're probably talking sometime in wintertime.
That's the season. Can we go down to a month?
Well, I've got a whole lot on the plate right now.
I will say this, he done the Valley View bathrooms, the oldest ones in the building, his guys did, they look good.
Worth the wait.
And
I
but
felt
then
like
you
it would
don't
be.
know all the unexpected
Right.
things that occur that
Yeah, that could be
take
unexpected,
precedence.
but, just
One
go
other
in,
thing
gut,
about Carroll
read it.
Elementary.
With,
Did you ever fix the boys' bathroom in the gym at Carroll Elementary, the door?
Where's that at?
Or not Carroll Elementary, La Follette Elementary? La Follette Elementary in the gym, the boys' bathroom in the corner back there on the right. And you're going back, you can't get it shut. And you got boys and girls in there playing, PE at the same time, and boys, the
Is this
little
in the
boys can't
gym
get the
or
door
in
shut. It's in the gym, the bathroom in the gym. So you can't, you go in there and you got boys and girls in the gym class and the door's stuck open that far. It just won't close. It's like it needs trimmed.
Trimmed?
Yeah.
Shim,
I'll
No,
check it
just
tomorrow.
shimmed, it
Did
won't
they
close.
send a word, do you know if they sent a word?
I got in there and I closed it,
it's the first I've heard.
and I had to put my shoulder and everything I had to get into it, get out of it.
I mean, if these were turned in as maintenance requests,
Then
they would be.
Yeah, I don't
taken care of
remember seeing
immediately.
that,
Yeah.
so we could be,
Didn't mind if you're up there.
we can call
I'll check it tomorrow.
Jessica or
I'll
Kenny.
check it tomorrow.
should we prioritize the Oak Valley Boys Restroom remodel upgrade over the other two? Because if it's done in the winter, we're gonna be out of season anyway. And I hate to say it, it doesn't seem like a super high priority until the spring when it's track time.
I do know the Elk Valley one. I was a county commissioner in '06, and I remodeled that with county commission money in '07. So it's been that long, and it wasn't been done then. It's
So I mean,
bad.
do you all agree that we should prioritize Oak
Yes.
Valley?
It should be the first one. Maybe, let me say this. If I don't get it on fall break, I'll get it on winter break, on Christmas break.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So what's the pleasure of the committee on number 6? If there's no more questions. Is there a motion to recommend it to the full board?
I'd like the motion.
Second.
And that money, Director, will use capital funds?
It's still there. Yes,
We've
it
got
is.
about, 600 and some thousand? And then we've got 8 million of capital outlay. So we should be able to muster that.
Meeks,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Nicely,
Yes.
Lester,
Yes.
Wheeler. Yes. Hillman.
Yes. All right. Number 7, this was we done 2 of these awnings, what was it, a year ago, Stan? We had 4 pre-Ks, and up at Valley View, they released them directly out of the classroom to the parents. They don't go through the school and out the awning out front, they go right out of their doors. And there's nothing, so when a parent comes up and knocks on the door, they're standing in the rain. So there's like a 5 foot?
I think it's 5 or 6.
5, 6 footer that's just a square that gives you some shelter while you're standing there. And they're what, $1,500 a piece?
Is that where they are dismissed at and brought in at the beginning of the
It's
school?
when they get there and when they leave, correct?
Yeah.
That's what Jake told me.
That should be fairly
So I'm
inexpensive.
just, asking if you all consider doing that for them.
We have a cost.
$1,500 each, $3,000.
And that's through
That's through,
Mountain Awning.
Mountain Awning.
That's the ones that does it, most of them for us anyway. That's the ones that gets the bids for us.
Have you checked with Camel Custom awning and auction?
I think they bid once for us, they don't bid for us.
Okay.
I think they bid once, long time, and the other company bid. There's two companies that bid for us. I think one of them's in Clinton maybe. And Camel's bid, since I've been here, they bid once or twice and that's it. You know somebody over there?
No, I just know they do the awnings in Knoxville for the restaurant.
These are pretty good, they're sturdy, I mean, they're heavy builds, they're got brackets on them coming down.
Mountain Lion done the Carroll one, you seen the Carroll ones?
Mhm.
Or they done them, they done about every awning.
That's cheap.
So, any more questions on that item? Well, I make the motion to approve it to send to the board.
Second. Cummings,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Leslie,
Yes.
Lester,
Yes.
Wheeler. Yes. Miller.
Yes. Number 8, I spoke with Nick Mislay a while back, and it's another one of them things where they're working with stuff that's broken, doesn't work, their lockers that they have, and she gave me a quote, about 11,000, right? It's
Is that
for
lightning lockers?
yeah, lightning.
Yeah, I ain't seen them.
They're begging for some new lockers for their kids. They use them. And, I think we'll have to get a couple more, but it's gonna be, around 11,000. I'd like to see them get them.
Jeff, here's what I'm confused about, and maybe, Ben, you can, we're taking lockers out of Kimball County High School because they're not being used, but yet we want them at Elk Valley. Ben, can you talk about what it's been like from your perspective?
We have about 30 that are used now. Our welding uses some down there. We have about, I think, over 1,400 lockers. So we are, it's just a wasted space.
We
and
had to
space where
export that.
students get in. And they recommend, Homeland Security recommends that, you don't have lockers. So they don't want you to have lockers.
Most of them tore up, a lot of them's tore up.
When they tear them out, they're getting tore up. So
Yeah, I'm not talking about repurposing them. That's not my
Okay.
point. I'm asking Mr. Faust about, from his perspective as an educator,
Yeah.
why they're taking them out, which I know when I was in high school, which was not all that long ago, we never used lockers. You'd go and you'd rent a little lock and you'd throw some junk in there and not use them for a few years.
So this is an elementary.
In middle, but most of our elementary,
mentality
most of our,
from the high school to the elementary kids. The high schoolers could care less what
A much different culture.
Yeah, they put their books and stuff in a backpack and go on about the merry way. And
Middle schoolers and
Middle school and
elementary, they still
elementary.
use, they still use them.
yeah, I guess that was my real question is,
Well, we do a lot of.
refurbish.
No.
It's like you tearing them out, they're more
Digital learning, safety, I know Homeland Security recommended as one of the big things too is, the less lockers you use, the safer you are. So that's kind of why we're in. And like I said, it was just a space that was being used for kids to hide out and make out or do whatever they do. So that's why I think we had 30 used last year besides what we use on the CTE wing, because ROTC still kind of uses them some. They really haven't in the last 2 years. And then welding does, they use about 20. So, but other than that, we don't use them. Like I said, it's just a safety concern with Homeland Security they brought up too. Like if you're not using them, this is a place that a kid could come in and hide stuff. So, yeah.
And I know it's only $12,000, and when we're talking, millions for other things, it's a drop in the bucket. But I just want to make sure that if we're going to appropriate or recommend to appropriate these funds, that they're going to truly be used.
I think she's allowed that they're going to use them. So,
Director, do you have any thoughts?
No, if she says that they're going to use them, I don't know how far they travel when they go from one location to the other, but
And Ryan, you know that school way better than I do. Your thoughts is that this is a good spend? Yes.
I know White Oak got some new ones. I think they wasn't many they got. They do, they use them for sure.
White Oaks may have been repurposed, they might have got some old ones.
No,
they were new.
No, I took them, they got
I didn't
rid
value
They-
either, remember going.
Yeah, we used what Mr. Lester gave from the,
Yes.
we used. all
Thank
right.
you.
Well, thank you. Number 9, Director and Mr. Span, could you give us an update on the Jellicoe Elementary gym floor, please?
Part of the floor is down, should be finished, did they say this week, and then we have to wait next week, let it
Well, it'll probably be, I'm gonna say if they ain't done next week, the week after they'll be done.
With the whole thing?
Yes.
With the floor being down, then they have to let it sit for about a week. Then they'll start putting the finishing on it.
Yeah.
And then either the first, second week of November is when the bleachers are going.
Now, if the gym floor gets done sooner.
Oh, shoot, my daughter
they'll
will be able to
start.
use it.
Can they start on the bleachers or any earlier?
No.
No, they
No.
have to wait till November.
Yeah, I had to swap around.
I think the people over there will be very happy that that gets done.
Oh, we'll be tickled, much needed, you know. And so me and Mr. Marlowe had spoke previously, and so that same target window of that first, so we're, give or take 45 days from.
It'll be done in November, period. It'll be
We'll
done.
have home games ready for that,
Yep.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Just one quick question. Just going back to the high school and the project up there, does that not put us over budget on that?
Which one?
The new numbers for the
The
sports complex?
1.5, yeah, I think you'll have to have a budget amendment to probably pull that out of the fund balance. 200,000.
Is that something that has to be addressed now, or?
That's what I was wondering, do we need to go ahead and kind of do something?
If we're wanting to
To
stay
get
on
it-
schedule and get it
keep from holding
done.
anything else up, I would recommend anything to keep from holding anything else up.
So, Ms.
We've got to
Parks,
get that up there.
I'll make you can do that without us taking action?
Yes, she can.
Or do you want us to go ahead and do it while we can do it?
However you.
I'm going to suspend the rules, make a motion to suspend the rules on my agenda. Need a second?
Hold on, point of parliamentary procedure, I don't think you can make
I
that
can't.
motion as a chairman.
But,
Somebody else will have to.
I would wish that we would suspend the rules so we can add it
I'll
to the
make a
agenda.
motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
And my the motion will be to ask the director to appropriate a budget amendment in the difference between what was discussed earlier out of the fund balance.
Fund balance.
Yeah. It's what, 206,000.
Unless building supplies go up. Motion.
Suspend the rules vote first.
Yeah.
We're-
We need to
Yeah,
vote
we got
first on the suspended
to
rules.
vote on that.
Okay, we have a motion and second to suspend the rules. Ms. Wheeler made the motion, going at the second. Cummins?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Lastly?
Yes.
Lester?
Yes.
Wheeler? Yes. Miller?
Yes.
Good catch, Randy.
Okay, and now for, to get direction for Director Fields to appropriate funds out of fund balance for the two projects at Campbell County High School. Motion by
Yeah.
Cummins?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Lastly?
Yes.
Lester?
Yes.
Wheeler? Miller?
Yes.
Motion passed.
I do have one question, Mr. Chairman. At what point, say building supplies go up 30% more, at what point do we back up and say, too much?
Scale back.
Like, what's our threshold? And I don't have an answer for that, but I do think it.
They're wanting it done. I mean, are we going to tell them we ain't going to do it?
Well, don't get me wrong, I understand they want it done, I want it done too, but at the end of the day, you know, if building costs double, at what
Right.
point do we say,
We
hey,
wait till it goes back down?
I mean, do we go back to the drawing board? You know,
The
I want
weight, the
it,
weight room on, the weight room at the field house is top priority.
Yes.
It's got to get done. Other than that, we just
Coach
see
Bennett did say
what
that.
they come back and say, and then we decide as a group.
I see that, but I also see what Brandon's saying, because you have to be a good steward of public funds. I mean, we're responsible for every penny that we spend, because it's not ours, it's theirs, and we have to
And I
represent
would
that
say
well.
that prices are going to go up.
yeah, I just,
That's why I said, the weight room on the football field is the one that we look at. 30% of that versus kids getting hurt on the football field and not having a place to work out is unacceptable. So I'm willing to do, you know, the 30% on that. We would look at the complex at that
Overall.
point. Yes.
Complex can
You
wait.
split it up.
Well, you gotta remember too, there's a bunch of small things that have been approved that our other sports things are gonna get done too. I mean, soccer,
Well, now, you
volleyball.
just appropriated the 206, so you're still gonna have your full allotment.
Well, I don't think, if we're at that point, we're not getting, I think we're, you know, none of the small things are getting done. Am I not correct in saying that?
I think the decision was made during the summer that this had priority.
And we did say that,
Yes.
like, we've got it in stages.
Right.
But I just wanted you all to be aware, like, this is just for the existing room and the auxiliary gym weight room.
Right.
So we, you know, there were the promises we've made to the small sports with scoreboards and those things. So this does not include any of that.
We in my opinion, we have to honor those commitments. I mean, the idea of honoring one commitment like a weight room and not honoring our commitments to our smaller sports, in my personal opinion, is unacceptable. I mean, we can't just say, here you go football, here's a weight room, and oh, sorry soccer, you're not as important, you're getting kicked down the road. In my opinion, every sport is equally as important, period. There's no one child in any of our schools that's more important than another child. And so I think we have to be really mindful of that.
I agree. I just think that, you know, kind of like you said, just,
I'm just saying battle one at one time.
Yeah.
The one that's gonna get done earliest, let's knock that one out, then look. And, you know, I don't think it's gonna go up there. In my opinion, I don't see it going up that high, but
I'm just curious what our
You know when
threshold.
you know, when you bid it that is, that's what they want to know. We can sit here and speculate all we want to.
Agreed.
When you bid it out, that's when you know what it is.
Yes.
And they're gonna, they got an alternative to work out.
All righty, any more on the gym floor? Good? Good. All right, number 11.
when's it gonna be completed?
10, don't skip me, Jeff.
Oh, 10, forgot, sorry. We'll recognize Mr. Johnson. Go ahead, on your press box.
Mr. Marlowe, the roof of the press boxes at both of our middle schools is dangerous. And from what I understand, at least from La Follette Middle, I've not talked in depth to Jacksboro, but La Follette Middle, some of the coaching
I've
staff
already been working on it with,
was telling me that this has been a 6, 9, 12-month concern. I mean, I'm concerned
I
that
just
we've,
found out about it a month ago.
okay. I'm concerned that we've got students, parents, coaches, staff, et cetera, on top of these. I mean, it's dangerous. I mean, I don't really know why we're letting people on top of these press boxes at this point. I mean, I'm worried from a liability and safety standpoint.
They had, if you block it off, they take a ladder and get up there. So,
Who's they?
people up there.
Okay, well, that's what we got law enforcement and administration for. I mean, if we're if our response is, oh, yeah, you can't block it off because they're gonna bring in a ladder and throw it up there, I mean, what in the world? Is this the Wild West, right? I mean, so you've been aware of these concerns though?
The only one that I've been aware of is the leak. Now, I don't know what you were talking about, safety concern.
On both of them, when you go up, the whole back railing on both press boxes, you can about fall through. I mean, it's rotted.
Well, I don't know that. All I know is what you go through.
I've never been on
These are the ones I see.
When they called me up there, they only told me that they had a leak.
That's all I've been.
Yeah, we were only told there was a leak.
Around the edge, all this step through is trying to have a conversation.
Jack's run the Wild Middle boat.
It's the same, I think
So
that's the
the
same
floor, the
roof.
flooring of it, just the roof?
So nobody made you aware?
The leaks, only thing I
They
seen
called
my
me
guys
up,
up there to fix.
parents and administration called me up at La Follette Middle School, so I went up and looked. I forgot off work one day, and they took me in and showed me the leak. There was mushrooms and mold
Yeah.
growing on around where the hatch, where you crawl up the.
Well, from the
ladder.
bottom, it's just a leak. From the top,
So-
you could fall
Well,
through.
that's what I'm saying, Brandon. Nobody had took me up there and even said that. They said, we got mold in here, this is a problem.
Yeah, okay.
So
And
that
no
was what I was
one
made
had
aware of, and I
reported
needed
it
call.
to us. We had not been made aware of it.
So-
Someone approached me after a board meeting one night,
Okay.
and I sent Stan up there to look at it. Well, he went up to look at it. By that point, they recommended the roof be replaced. Well, it was time for the season to start, so they couldn't replace the roof during that time, because then we had to go through the entire bidding process and all that. So that put that delay in place, and then Stan did go up
I
and.
seen a guy up there, he panicked, he said, you're gonna have to replace the whole roof, that's what he told me.
Which
And I-
includes if the rail is loose, that's what's caused. So, yeah.
I've called I've begged two different companies, and here's, I'm going, I'll text them, I'm going. Never gotten back a quote
Difficult to
on
get
either one of
anybody
them.
to go up.
So, are they students going up on the roof? Like
Yeah.
during the
Oh,
day?
yeah.
Which I did at Jacksboro, I relayed that information on.
Yeah.
They did not know it, that people were getting on the roof. I did make them aware of that.
Yeah, I mean, and on the roof, you have, students that are going up there. You have, I've seen parents go up there, I've seen coaches, et cetera. I mean, in my opinion, it's dangerous. I mean,
People get overloaded.
yeah, well, not only that, but then it's rotten. I mean, and so
Well, it
it's,
definitely needs to be.
it's at what point, if we've known about this for 6 months, for example, and we've not done anything, and we've not restricted access, at what point do we have a safety and a liability concern about people getting hurt on things?
My first week down here, Tracy Chambers, I was in her office, we called and tried to get 2 people to go up and give us quotes on those roofs, and we never heard anything back, and at the time, it was relayed to us. I started June 24th, it was relayed to us as a leak. That's all we ever heard. This
That's
whole
all
Both
process-
middle schools?
That's
Yes.
what, yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
Ms. Chambers she called on speakerphone, we sat there, we tried to get quotes, and okay, I'll go up, we'll have something for you tomorrow, and then now all of a sudden. I
She's
called
never
last
heard
week,
back.
Got the same call.
And I still have not gotten.
Is this something that your team can fix, Steve?
No.
Yeah, because you went up
Yes,
there.
what kind of roof is it?
I had Dixie go up there. Dixie said they gonna have to replace the whole roof. And it's not no little job, it's a big job. And Jacksboro's the same way.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the same way.
I mean, I'm just wondering, should we prohibit access to those roofs until they're repaired?
I would think so.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm not on this committee, but I'm safety chair, and I would absolutely say that.
Yeah.
Coach and staff.
I don't know.
How old did you say those?
Now, the kids that were up there, my understanding was that, I don't know, I think they must tell Cody, I don't know.
well, it's gonna take school administration actually being there and telling them not to get up there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not your PA announcer's problem, right? I mean, we can't look at Peebly and Miller in the press boxes and say, hey, you're in charge of policing this. Administrators have to, but.
It's a love home.
It's football season.
And I don't think that they knew that, because I did make it aware, but you know what, they're over at the. I don't think they knew that.
That's who donated.
Mr. Johnson.
How long's it been since Doug been here?
So do we restrict access until these are repaired? And I know that's problematic in football season, because we don't want to
Both of them the
hamper
same thing.
either football teams, right, from having fair competition.
They donated both of them.
Do we,
I would think that we would not
Well, it don't matter.
But that's an administration
that's your
issue.
job.
Yeah, I mean, we would stop it. It's as simple as just making
You
a
gotta
call.
make it over, you gotta make it across the street tonight, you better be telling them.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's a school administration.
my thought is we get,
Hey, don't live there. Yeah.
We block it off, that's what you went
well,
through.
my thought is we let you make that call. I mean, that's your job, right, over maintenance. And if you think that it's safe enough to have people up on there,
Well, it would be an
No.
administrator's
Yeah.
position, and then you would ask
Yeah.
Mr. Marlowe to go do that.
right, I mean, that's.
We've always started concerns.
Just put it this way, Stan, is it safe as far as, I've not been up there, so I don't know.
I've not been up on the roof, I know my guy said
Yeah.
it needs a whole new roof.
Needs a whole new roof, so it's not safe. So basically, just tell them, don't get on the roof.
5 years, so.
That's all we gotta do.
Yeah, count
So just call Rich and say, hey, don't leave anybody on the roof.
And then we need to proceed on getting, if whoever's not wanting to call back with a quote, go to somebody else.
Well, what you're gonna have to do is going to be that.
Is it gonna
That's
be
what
that
you-
great?
Mm. Oh, yeah.
Well, then why don't we just bid it out?
And you could tell at least from La Follette Middle that nobody administration wise, had been up there in a long time, because
You
I
showed
sent
me
Jeff some
of
pictures.
trash.
Yeah, there was trash up there that
And that
was,
was left over from last football season.
yeah,
Yeah.
so nobody's
The
been up
wrapper had
there.
faded.
Yeah.
There was what?
The wrapper on the pop bottle.
Trash. They'd left trash up there from last season.
So you want to address, put it out to bid
Yeah, I mean, if
later, or
that's,
you want to do it now?
I think we need to now.
We have to suspend the rules again? Or can that be part of it?
Hey, Brandon, one point, just Stan was talking about, Love Homes donated those,
Okay.
and those things are like 20 to 30 years old.
Wow.
So you probably need, I mean, we may need to evaluate
The floors,
the whole thing before you know what I mean?
I agree with Mr. Heatherly. I mean, do we need to evaluate the entire structure?
I don't know.
It's just like a small mobile home. That's what it is. But the roof on that thing ain't a rubber roof.
Right.
It's a, I
You're not
forgot
getting
what,
contact
you weld that
Clayton
roof
Homes
together.
or
That's what I was getting ready to say, why don't you
It
go
ain't
call
rubber,
Clayton and
it's
just go to
welded
donate?
together. What's
you'll
called
see
welded.
Clayton Homes, see if they'll donate us a couple.
Do what?
You'll see Clayton, on those, they sell a lot of trailers in Campbell County.
Yeah. Nah.
I
Mobile
mean,
homes.
I'm wondering, before we get ahead of ourselves and go ahead and put just the roof out to bid, et cetera, I mean, do we need to have administration and maintenance
Go up and take
inspect
a
the
look at it.
entire structure and get us back a report?
That's the best
That's what I think we
route
need to do.
before we bid a roof out and
Agreed.
then have to come back and replace the whole.
No
I
reason.
mean, when I say roof, I'm talking about everything on that roof. It ain't,
Will
you
you
go
go up
from
and
here
take a
up.
look at both of them?
That's from the ceiling up. That's what you'd have to do.
And give us a report back.
I mean, I'll go up there and look at it, but
Do that.
I'll tell you what I'm gonna recommend you do. A new structure.
Director Fields just had a heart attack.
Like a whole new press box. Is that
Well, I
what you're talking
mean,
about?
here's the thing. It's a mobile home.
Well, I go in Jacksboro, and I know it's been back in May that I was in there, but the windows are in good shape. They open, they slide, the doors are good. I don't
I'll go
know.
look at it, but I know the
Oh,
one,
we need a new structure.
the one at the fall would be the worst one. Cause I never got a report on Jacksboro.
Jacksboro's is in pretty good shape.
I
thought it was
never-
good.
Inside.
I never heard that until you told me, Brandon, at the football game.
Yeah. Mr. Could you give us a report at the October board meeting on those? Because, I mean, I'm hoping it's just the roof structure. I agree with Director Fields. I mean, I've been inside of them. And other than, La Follette Middle does have a noticeable mold spot that's very concerning from where the leak, and, you know, it's obviously starting to rot everything else away there. But if you could give us a report and let us know your recommendation, if it is, you know, once you've inspected them, truly the entire structure, or if we're able to replace the roof. I mean, I'm hoping we can replace the roof, right?
Well, I do know the fall is the worst,
Yeah.
by far. So,
Any more questions on that? All right, moving on. Now, you ready to have a heart attack? Number 11. This is an ideal that's been floated around for 6, 7, 8 years since I've been around. So I met with some vendors and, you know, tried to look at it, and I've kind of wrote it out here on page number 1 where it says tennis proposal. The proposal would be to do 5 regulation size courts. And it would be at the old Driver's Inn parking lot. Based on the numbers that I have, you know, been told, cost estimated between $400,000 and $800,000. The lot has the area to put 5 courts. They would each be 78 foot long, 36 foot wide, with 18 feet between them. Obviously, the fund balance would be the source of funding, and, you know, it sits at $8 million. So the question of the day is, on the low end, that would drain the fund balance down to 7.8 million or 7.4 million. So, you know, what's everybody think about doing tennis at the high school?
what's your interest level?
I think it's been a long time.
It's high.
We don't have facilities.
Ms. Fields?
in the county. I'm tapping out.
District championship came 4 years ago.
Absolutely. I've been trying to do this for 7 years.
How many courts are double A courts?
May I say something?
Director.
Okay, I don't think anybody would be opposed to it. I mean, it's been in discussions, it's never been brought to the table, it's never been voted down. Some people act like people are against it. That's never been the case.
So I just, with, getting on board here, I just, I done all the work and went and talked and, trying to get a ballpark figure, but understand this has to be bid out. So, these are estimates, of course, we would get a more narrower bid price with an actual architect. But these are safe numbers that I stand by because I have reached out to some vendors.
For the $400,000 window, I would hope it would be a safe number.
It is. And and then if you look at the little diagram that I done, it encompasses most of that area down there. And there is a grade, and it's about 10 foot, but it's doable, and that's not being used for nothing. I mean, that's just a vacated lot. And it would kind of tie into the new gym. I mean, you could use the restroom facilities as part of that to accompany the tennis courts.
Mr. Faust, just out of curiosity, and Athletic Director Browning, I mean, is this, if this were to become a reality, is this your all's proposed best location for it?
If you're gonna do it on the grounds, I think it is.
I think so.
Because that parking lot's not really used, is it?
It's not.
At all.
Yeah.
No, I'd rather not put it in front of the school, so like virtually behind the school.
Because the water
There's
lines
sewer,
run
there's a
under.
lot of stuff.
I think your biggest next thing will be the amount of water that runs out of that parking lot and back towards that back part of that campus. Because it'll have to be, there's somewhere.
And without going into too much detail, that was mediated in the plans I've been shown, so. But I'm not gonna tell the world what they're gonna do either, so, because again, it's a bid process, and I want to be
You got
fair.
a rising interest in pickleball, and I think that
Yeah.
takes up most of the county and stuff, courts at all time. I know a lot of the tennis team last year, I had some calls, they were having to drive to Clinton to practice on their own and stuff. And then you can't, how many kids we got playing right now?
Last year, we had 12 boys and 24 girls.
I know it's getting up to be a big
But
thing.
it could,
so.
with the tournament, with it being it enough to hold tournament, it could branch out into doing tournaments and hosting, other things, so.
You could start a middle school team.
You could.
And
I
that
mean, this
would
would
be-
build and get more kids involved in another sport. Keep them out of trouble, keep them in school, so.
Yeah, I mean, you're on the road, you get, tennis, it was 10 matches every year, we had to go to, and you go to Claiborne County, nothing against Claiborne County, they had some of the nicest tennis courts around. Union County, phenomenal tennis courts. And they're like, oh, and then when you go to scheduling meetings, they'll be like, okay, so it's their turn to come to your place next year, right? No, sorry.
For a program that's won a district championship, I do think it's sad that the Board of Education has not addressed this and looked into this.
Now, in all fairness, we had kind of discussed, minor discussions about La Follette's proposal to build across the street. How they're gonna build their new thing, and they were gonna have some courts put in there, but.
Oh, the city of La
The city of
Follette.
Follette,
Okay,
yeah.
yes.
They're not even
La
off,
Follette
I mean,
Middle
they
School.
haven't even broke ground.
No, they're still for sale.
Do we have any obligation to the city? I know there was some conversation from what I understand about.
No, there was nothing formally, it was just kind of, well, if you get it going, but they still, they're still for sale. And so this would be happening a lot quicker than that could, obviously. And that's, that's not a reality yet over there, so. What's your thoughts? I mean, the next step obviously would be to hire an architect.
We need to bring it before the whole board, Jeffrey.
Well, the proposal would be to
Rather
hire an
proposal,
architect, yeah,
yeah.
and let the whole board decide.
Right.
The architect, the last architect we used, what was their name? McCarty, at the Jellicoe project.
Yes.
One vendor said they work very good on these kind of projects, so. That's up to you all. The hiring of an architect will be the next step, recommended to hire an architect.
And so you guys got 40-plus athletes that would utilize this, and you have a championship winning team with no place to play.
Number four practice.
Yeah, and of course Rusty's coaching them this year.
Yeah.
But I mean, the interest, I mean, when we had 8th grade day this past year, I mean, it was a front and back sign-up sheet of kids who were interested in playing.
I thought y'all had some program.
Oh, yeah. Well, everybody always said I ran a club instead of a sport, because I like to keep everybody, but everybody plays,
Motion.
everybody's something for them to do.
Motion by Lester,
Second.
and I just want to say as chairman that I fully support this idea. I think it's going to be good for the campus. I think it's investment. You're going to have that gym, new weight room, this. The world's a bad place, and with kids in school doing this is better.
Mr. Lister, your motion is to hire an architect. for
Yeah, just
Middle
what the
County
first
High School
step,
tennis
hire an
project.
architect.
Okay. Can you second that?
Yes, ma'am.
Cummins,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Leslie,
Yes.
Lester,
Yes.
Wheeler. Yes. Miller.
A big yes. Do you have anything? Mr. Heatherly?